I'm Jesse McDonald. This is a 1969 F350 resto mod with a 6.7 Powerstroke swapped into it. It was painted by Glenn Brennan over at GB Hotrods. Yeah, it's been a 5-year journey, but here we are. It's coming together. Yeah, it's got the newer interior, but kept the old dash, which was a lot of work, but worth doing. A ton of wiring. Yeah, with the 6.7, it has a lot of computers and a lot of modules and steering wheel control module, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, especially if you want to keep like traction control and ABS and all that stuff going. A lot of custom wiring, and shout out to my buddy Christian Hansen. Yeah, he helped out big time on that one. He's a wizard when it comes to wiring, so he taught me a lot and he did a lot. But yeah, so it's got a firewall and floor from a 2015 Powerstroke, just to help accommodate that giant engine in there. Yeah, if I was to do it again, I would probably keep the old one. Make life easier for the interior side of things, but everything else is pretty good with how it turned out. Still lots left to do, of course. You know, the last 10% takes 90% of the time, but at least we're driving and enjoying it now, which is the main thing. So it's a 2015 Powerstroke. Same with the motor. It's all out of a 2015 that I bought wrecked. Stripped everything off of it, put it all together, adapted all the mounts. Instead of cutting the frame to match the wheelbase, we actually sectioned the box. So there's about 3 inches out of the box just to fit the wheelbase a little bit better. The frame that I bought already had a little, I think it's a 4-inch lift on it, which I think sits nice for the truck. So it's actually stock tire size on a 17-inch method. I kept it as narrow as I could because the axles are so much wider on the newer trucks compared to the old ones. So even with as narrow of a rim as I could get, it still pokes couple inches, which I think looks good, but some people don't like it. 6.7 has a piping kit done by my buddy Matt Jensen. It's tuned and deleted by Proven Diesel, Asbury Dumont. Just has a straight pipe, 4-inch straight pipe, but other than that, everything is pretty much stock. To fit the 6.7, we had to delete the secondary cooling system, so rerouted the trans onto the primary system, and then just running a small little Mishimoto cooler for charge air and for fuel. That was a lot of work and time to figure out and kind of work the kinks out and stuff, right? So yeah, there's a ton of time invested in just figuring shit out on this truck. stock interior, yeah, and the seats are out of a 2017 Powerstroke.
Okay.
The center console is out of a, I think, 08, 09. Stripped everything down, repainted it. Center console was reupholstered. All the carpet was done from scratch from the upholstery shop in town here. C&E, I think is their name. Great old guy in there, really good prices. So if anybody needs any work. Headliner was done by my buddy John Taylor. He's just down the road from us. He does crazy hot rods all on his own. He does everything start to finish on his own, so it's pretty cool to have a guy like that in your corner helping out on stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of work to get the seats to fit. If I was to do it again, I don't know if I would go through that much time and work, but they're comfy, so. And they fit the truck nice, which is good. Got the old style radio set up in there, so it looks original, but it's got Bluetooth, it's got satellite radio, it's got all that stuff, which is nice to help keep the dash. We 3D printed a bunch of adapters, so like 4x4 select is all done with the old style dash knobs. Headlight switch is all done by the old stuff. My buddy Christian wired all of the turn signals and lights and high beams. All that stuff is going through from the old controls through the new, so it goes through the steering wheel control module to the BCM and controls through the computer. Dakota Digital Dash, have everything set up. It pulls everything it needs pretty much through the CAN bus network, but had a few sensors we had to set up and still have to hook up the oil pressure, but I know it's got oil pressure, so I'm not too worried about it. Main thing that we'll do right now is gonna pull this all apart again and redo these inner fenders, just clean that up. I don't really like how they turned out, but should be not too much work to pull it apart and redo that and put some billet hinges on it. Just clean up the look of the engine bay a little bit, and then more playing with wiring. A lot of wiring to clean up and, you know, little things to chase here and there, but for the most part everything's done. Yeah. It's enjoyable as it is. Lots of little things like the wiper motor still has to get fixed and clocked properly and install wipers and stuff like that. But as far as day-to-day driving, it's all set up and ready. I'd love to make it down to the States, go see my buddy Matt Kubik down there in Oklahoma at some point maybe, or meet him somewhere in the mountains, you know. Maybe even go down to California, see the redwoods, something like that would be really cool in a truck like this, I think. So. Take in some of the bigger shows down there.
Drive through the middle of a tree?
If it fits, yeah. It's a lot of trucks, so we'll see, but yeah, it'd be a cool photo. Yeah, I'd like to put some miles on it next year. Didn't get to drive it nearly as much this year, been busy, but hopefully the next few years I can really start cranking the hours on it. I'm sure I'm missing a few people. Definitely have bugged enough people over the years and asked some questions about this and that, and, you know, drawings and stuff. But yeah, the main people involved were Glenn Brennan and my buddy Christian, Hansen with the wiring. Seen upholstery in town here, did all the interior. Matt Jansen did the piping kit, helped me out a little bit with troubleshooting some issues that we had. His company 3D printed all the adapters and stuff for the interior, and we'll do a few more still yet, but those are the main players. Glenn was obviously, he's got the most hours on it of anybody, myself included, but yeah, it's been a long 5 years, but it's good. I'm happy with how it turned out, you know.
Yeah, it's a good looking truck, for sure.
Thanks, man. So this is another crew cab I picked up out of BC. Actually, a guy that I know ended up finding it, but I convinced him to sell it to me. It's a Mercury crew cab. Marty published it as one of 9, but I think there's probably a few more than that out there.
Right. And you were explaining to me earlier about what the Marty was.
So for those that aren't familiar with kind of Fords, but Kevin Marty bought all the rights to the Ford data back when Ford was going to get rid of it. So it's kind of like has everything from like build date, all factory options, the day it was like came off the line, the day it was sold. It has all that information.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a super in-depth breakdown of the VIN basically.
Yeah.
It'll tell you everything it was supposed to come with, like if it was 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, what motor it had, what options it had, like what tires came on it sometimes, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, and then they do have statistics, like they'll have like trim and color options. So it'll be like, you know, one of 1,500 with this trim and color and stuff like that. So for the people in the Ford community, it's kind of like the bread and butter. If you're into stats, I don't really care so much about the stats, but it is a cool thing on top of it. So
interesting, something I didn't know. So
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Primarily, other than the Ford that I've got in there, I'm more of a Mercury guy. It's kind of cool to me to that they're a Canadian company, right? So it's how all the Ford trucks are sold in Canada up until halfway through '68. So I've got 3 of them. I got this crew cab. I got another crew cab buried in the back there, and then I got another highboy here, which will be the next project. It's just stripped down and gonna go to sandblasting, hopefully before snow flies, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And then do a patina body on top of it. So
that's the next project, right?
that's the next one. Yeah.
This is the highboy frame.
Yeah.
And then you're putting that truck.
Yeah, that's the body that'll go on it. I'll clean it up. There's a few rust spots that have to get fixed up, and I'll see if I can convince my buddy John Taylor to patina match, because he's a wizard when it comes to that kind of stuff. He's literally an artist. So
cool.
and he makes that front cross members all beat to shit. So he makes those actually from scratch, and so we'll throw a new one in there, sandblast everything, and paint the chassis, maybe even powder coat it. We'll see how crazy I want to get. And then, new brake lines, rebuild the axles, all that fun stuff. But
And then something with patinas, something you can drive a little bit more and not worry about.
that's the idea. Yeah.
Your tire can catch a rock and it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Something I can just kind of bomb around in town, and enjoy. Put the dogs in it and stuff,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That one in there is a little too
too much time and money invested in that one to really beat on it. But it's still a fun truck, and I'm gonna, put the miles on it. But yeah.
Sweet. This video has been in the works for a really long time. I first started talking to Jesse about shooting the truck for the magazine a long time ago, probably early spring, and it is now late fall, almost winter, pretty much winter. We're almost going on to winter. So this shoot's been in the works for a long time. Finally was able to make it up here at the same time he was back from work, and everything was dialed in on the truck. So we're headed over to his place now to shoot the truck and do a little interview and get some info for you guys and some cool shots. I'm excited. It's a nice day. We had a little bit of snowfall, but the snow melted just in time to get this done. So one of the last outdoor shoots that I'll be doing this season, but we do have a couple more lined up for that we're going to be doing inside, and we've also got a couple more that we've already shot that you might not have seen yet. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you subscribe to the magazine. It's only $130 Canadian, $100 American, and you get every issue for the year, and never have to worry about missing one. So do me a huge favor, support the channel, support the magazine, spread the word, and we start our life. Yeah, it's a good. This truck has a lot of good angles.